It is only 4:15 and it's so dark outside. I don't know why I seem shocked by this every year, but it drives me insane and it just makes me so sad. The lighting is a bit of an issue, but we're doing the best we can. We are improvising. We are being blinded by all of the light. What can you do? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Georgia. I hope you're well. We are back today with another monthly wrap up. It's that time again. So we are back with another monthly wrap up. We haven't done quite as well this month as we did in the month of September. September was just sort of like insane. I read so many books that month and I don't even know how I managed it. But October has not been quite as successful. We've still had a very good reading month, so I've done in total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've done 7 books in the month of October, which I don't think is bad going. If you've seen my October TBR video, I didn't do as good as I'd hoped. So as always, I picked 6 books at the beginning of October that I was hoping to get to this month. I feel like I've got really bad at sticking to my TBRs recently, but I picked 6 books and I think I've managed to read 3 of the books off my TBR, so not perfect, but it is what it is. I can't remember how I did the month before. Can anyone remember what I did in September? Did I hit more or less? I did 3 again last month as well, so I did 3 in the month of September. I've done 3 in the month of October, so all in all, we've just been slacking a little bit with the TBRs. We're going to have to try harder. Let's go through the books that I read and I will tell you what I rated them. So I started the month with The City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. Now this was actually on my TBR for the month of September, so I was really hoping to get to it earlier on, and I did start reading it in September, but I didn't actually finish reading it until the month of October. So I love this series. I absolutely love this series. I read it when I was younger. I read it when I must have been probably like 14, 15, so around the same age as our main female character in this book. I just love it. It's cringy. It's not the best. There are definitely moments in this book that are like... But I love it so much. So this is a YA fantasy romance set in New York. It's all sort of like set around the shadow hunters, which are basically a group of people that are sort of like half angel, half human, and they are supposed to be keeping check on the demons and the downworlders. So like we have demons, they are basically demon hunters, but they also try and sort of keep check on all like the vampires, the werewolves, things like that. So our main female character, Clary, doesn't know that any of that sort of exists. She has lived a very sheltered life, but her mum is actually a shadow hunter. She has a very big change in her life and her mum goes missing. She finds out that shadow hunters exist. She gets told that all the stories are true, vampires are real, werewolves are real. Her entire life just gets flipped upside down and she's like forced into this world of shadow hunters, and it's just this crazy story, and honestly I love it so much. I know I didn't make it sound great at the beginning when I said like there's some moments, but I just love it. I love it so much, and I do plan on reading the entire Mortal Instruments series. Now I have loved the Mortal Instruments series, but I do want to read the new reading order where you also read the Infernal Devices halfway through, so I'm hoping for a very different reading experience this time. I would definitely say this is YA. It's definitely probably the lower side of YA as well, especially the earlier books. I love it. I love it so much. So I rated this one 4 stars on reread. I think I rated them 5 stars when I was younger, so it's definitely dropped a little bit, but I still love this book. I love it so much. It's just so much fun. So 4 stars for our first book in October. I then jumped into Training the Heart by Paisley Hope. This is book 2 in the Silver Pines series, and I have actually read books 2 and 3 of this series this month. So I read one really early on in the month and one a lot later on in the month, so I'm a bit confused on which one was which, if I'm honest. I loved them both. So book 2 follows Wade and Ivy. Now this is such a fun book. I loved this so much. It was fun, it was spicy. It does have some very difficult topics in there. So Wade is trying to sort of like fully break off from his ex-wife. She's been very complicated throughout this entire sort of journey. So then we have Wade, who's been sort of like looking after the ranch. It's sort of been handed down to him on the passing of his dad. And then we also have Ivy, who has been given the opportunity to train the horses that they have at this ranch. Now we meet Ivy in book 1 briefly, but this is their full story. So at the beginning, quite early on in this book, Ivy has quite a severe injury when she falls off one of the horses that she's trying to train, and she basically ends up having to live with Wade while she sort of like recovers from this injury. So it's like a forced proximity. It's really fun just sort of watching them come together and them like their attitudes towards each other change, and them get to know each other's sort of true colours and things. I absolutely love this one. It's spicy. It is very spicy. The spicy scenes were so good. I enjoyed it so much. Just the sort of like development that we get throughout this book. He was so unsure of her at the beginning, thinks she was too young and weren't ready for the role, and just seeing how they develop and things is so much fun. The third act conflict in this one didn't piss me off either, which is always a good thing, because with me third act conflicts are very hit and miss, but this one was fine. This one was all good. I really enjoyed how we sort of like came around from that and how that was resolved. I thought that was really interesting and really nice. So I'm honestly enjoying this series so much. Like the found family and them all, just I love it so much, and it's my perfect setup. Anybody who knows me knows dual POV, first person perspective books are just my go-to. I just love them so much. It's the perfect setup in my opinion. This didn't disappoint. I really like Paisley Hope's writing. I've done some arc reading for her in the past. I did it with Wolf, and I've also now got a copy of Dove that comes out in January as well. So I love her sort of more dark romance, motorbike gang sort of ones, but I'm also really enjoying her cowboy series. So I did rate this one 5 stars in the end, so we have had another 5-star this month. I've actually had a really good reading this month because I think there's been a couple of 5 stars this month, and more that I think about it. So I'm gonna jump ahead and tell you about book 3, which is actually not the next book I read in October, but I will put it in here anyway while I've got it in my hand. So this one is Riding the High. So this one follows our main character Cole. So Cole is the sheriff in this town, and then we have our main female character Ginger, which is his little sister's best friend. They have always hated each other, never really got on, always had this really sort of back and forth hatred, banter type friendship. They go away for Cece and Nash's like sort of stag / hen do, which is a couple from the first book, and they actually end up getting married in Vegas. That is very problematic for actually both characters in this book, because he's the sheriff of the town and he's also sort of just like interim sheriff at the moment. He hasn't actually been properly sworn in, so this would be a very big thing for him in not really showing he's very responsible and things like that. And it also has a very bad effect for our main female character Ginger, because her dad is the congressman and he is very protective of like the sort of family image. So again, looks really bad on the family, so they have a lot of issues on this sort of accidental drunken marriage. So I really like this one. Again, I really liked the development of the characters. I liked the development of their relationship, from them being like such hit and miss. They are also each other's sort of partner in crime. They turn to each other for advice and turn to each other for support and things, even though everyone seems to think they just despise each other, because that's sort of their outward image to everybody else. And I loved that. So again, I did also rate this one 5 stars. So far, I think the first book was 4 and these were both 5. I've really been enjoying this series. It's so much fun. Again, so spicy. Amazing found family, and I'm enjoying this series and this writing so much. I highly recommend this series, and I do think we've got book 4 of this coming out. So it's coming out on the 11th of November this year, so we only have a couple of weeks to wait. So I do think this will be one that will pretty much immediately go on my TBR, because I'm loving this series. It has been a 5-star series so far for me. An amazing country romance. Bring on book 4 in a couple of weeks. I'm very excited about that one. Okay, so another book that I read in the month of October was Happy Place by Emily Henry. Now, this is one of those books that for some reason I just put off for the longest time, and I can't tell you why. I have absolutely no idea. I've read Funny Story by Emily Henry, and I loved that one. I thought that one was a lot of fun, really liked her writing style, and I just sort of put off reading anything else. I think I was a bit worried that I'd started with her best book and then was going to be disappointed by everything else I read by this author. But I have finally caved and started this one here. So this one follows our main characters Harriet and Wynne. Now Harriet and Wynne are seen as this perfect couple in their friendship group. They go on holiday every year with the group of their friends to the same cottage, and it actually turns out that that cottage is going up for sale, so they want to squeeze in one last holiday before the end of this sort of era. The only problem with that is that they have actually broken up and just haven't told their friends yet, so they have to sort of put their differences aside for the sake of the friendship group, and they pretend they're still together for this one last trip. So it's a second chance romance. It's a lot of fun. The friendship group's really lovely. The third act conflict in this book I actually quite enjoyed, because it wasn't just to do with their relationship, it was the whole friendship group, and I just thought that was a really interesting sort of twist on that, and I really enjoyed that. It's quite sad, but also really interesting. Emily Henry has such an amazing sort of like imagination, such an amazing brain. For me, she sits very highly with Abby Jimenez and that sort of writing style of writing really difficult topics but in a really fun, cute way. Like, she touches on some really difficult conversations that need to be had between friends, families, groups and things like that, but they're always sort of like more lighthearted and combined with this really sweet and intense romance, and I just really like that. So I also really enjoyed this one. I did actually audio this. So I listened to this on Everand. Yeah, I really enjoyed the audio on there, and the narrator on there was really good. I thought this was a lot of fun. And all in all, I really enjoyed this one. Another fun, easy, it's not fun or easy, it's actually quite sad in places, but another really nice romancy book that I very much enjoyed. I did end up rating this one 4.5 stars. I did really enjoy it. It just didn't really give me that 5-star feeling like the books prior did. So I'm gonna leave it at a 4.5. I did really enjoy this and do highly recommend this book. I next picked up On Wings of Blood by Briar Bolin. Now I got this as my scavenger hunt read. If you want my full sort of like thoughts and feelings as I read this book, I will link it above for you guys. I enjoyed this one, but not as much as I think I wanted to. So I'd gone in with quite high expectations. I think I'd heard that like if you really enjoy Fourth Wing, you'll really love this book, and it is very Fourth Wing inspired, I believe. It's also got all this vampire element to it. It was a lot of fun, it was an interesting concept, it was a unique magic system, but I do think I'd gone in, like I said, with too high expectations. It's sort of like explained as a fantasy romance, and to be honest, I would say it's a fantasy with sort of like a bit of a romance subplot. Though it isn't a romantic love story sort of thing. There is a very twisted sort of romance throughout this. So our main character, Medra, is a half fae, and she basically wakes up in this new universe and she is just surrounded by vampires and Bloodborns. So there's all sorts of different things going on, lots of different elements to it, and she is then like discovered by Leader's nephew, and they basically decide that she has the markings of a dragon rider, but there's no dragon riders left. She is then instantly betrothed to him, so then we have this very toxic sort of relationship from this like betrothal that nobody really wants. She's then taken to Bloodwing Academy, and from there she's had to take all these classes and basically try and prove that she is worthy of being there and things. And I don't know, I did enjoy this. I do feel like she was sort of immediately accepting of the fact that life was going to be a bit shit for her, and that she was just immediately like, yeah, okay, cool, rather than being really confused and scared as to why she's woken up somewhere new in a completely different universe and completely different kingdom. And she was just sort of so accepting of it all, and I was just a bit like, girl, no, you would absolutely be like, for one, a lot more scared than you are. You are surrounded by vampires who have openly said that your blood is so enticing, and that like, you're just kind of like, okay, cool. And I don't know. Little things like that did sort of annoy me, but I did enjoy this book. I did enjoy the concept, and I will be continuing on with the series. I rated this one a 3.5 in the end. I am looking forward to seeing sort of where we go from here. The ending of this book had a really lovely little twist, but I did in the end decide to rate this a 3.5. Still really enjoyed it. I mean, half of 5 is 2.5, so 2.5 is good. It just didn't blow my mind. I don't know. I think my expectations were just a bit high going in, but did still really enjoy this one. 3.5 read. The next book I read in October was actually an ARC read that I did, and that is The Secrets We Keep by Emily Catlow. If you've seen any of my other videos, you've probably heard me speak about this author before. She's an indie author. I have the rest of her books down here, and I just love her writing. I will literally read anything that this author brings out. I just think she is such an incredible author. She has such an amazing mind, and I just love her writing so much. So I went into this with very little knowledge of what the book was about. I just knew it was different, and I was so taken aback by it. I really enjoyed this. So this one follows our main characters, Paddy and Morgan. So Morgan is our main female character in this book, and she has sort of this quiet little life in this cute little town. You sort of see throughout this story that she has quite a lot of anxieties and quite a lot of like struggles and trauma that she doesn't really understand. And then we also follow our main character, Paddy. Now Paddy is Morgan's best friend's older brother. She's always had a bit of a crush on him. It's always been quite obvious that that's how she feels about him. It's never really been a secret, not even from her best friend sort of thing. So Paddy ends up sort of moving away to London rather than staying in their sort of hometown, and becomes sort of like a hotshot paramedic. Just sort of comes back one day and everyone's a bit like, why are you here? What's going on? So they sort of spark up their friendship all over again. We do cover a lot of quite difficult topics in this book. So Paddy comes back with some trauma. There is definitely a bit of trauma sharing going on there, but there is not much else I can really tell you about this book without risking giving you any spoilers. But all I will say is this is a really sweet romance throughout, but there is also such a massive twist at the end, and it was just such a sweet story. And there is definitely a lot of mental health representation in this book, and I really enjoyed that element of it, but I honestly can't tell you much more about it without ruining it for you. Now, I went in blind, and I think you should do the same. Just go in with a little bit of information I've told you and just sort of see how you get on with this. But I have rated this 5 stars. It was such a good twist that I didn't see coming. It was one of those books that I actually just kind of sat there after I'd read it just to be like, oh my god. It's just so clever, and it gets you thinking back to everything else you've read, and you sort of like doubt the stuff you've read previously, and it was just so good. It was just so good. I was honestly sat for ages after this just sort of trying to get my head around what was going on, and it was... Emily Catlow, you are amazing. I will literally read anything you put in front of me. I think your writing is phenomenal, and I cannot wait to see what else your beautiful man creates. please go and pick this book up. It has literally just come out at the time of you seeing this video. It'll have been out a few days by now, but you just need to read it. You need to read it. If you follow me on Instagram and things, you'll have seen my little rants and raves about this book, and like literally as soon as I finished it, and it was just so good. I enjoyed it so much. Please go and pick this book up. This is a 5-star read. It was incredible. Please go and read it. And then the last book I read in October is this book here. So this is The Deal by Elle Kennedy. I literally finished this book about an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago. I am reading this as part of a reading your guys' 5-star recommendations book. And you know what? You guys smashed it. We have another 5 stars. So we've had 4 5-star books this month. I don't feel like I've ever dished out that many 5 stars back to back. It's been actually such a good reading month now that I think about it. This is my new sports romance series that I'm reading. I feel like I need one on the go at all times because I just love a sport romance. I read the Windy City series a while back and I finished it the other month, and I've been looking for my next sort of amazing sport romance series, and I finally picked this one up a couple of days ago. And I've devoured this book. I've literally read it in 2 sittings. They cover some really difficult topics in this one again. I feel like that's been a bit of a theme with the reads I've had this month. They've been quite heavy in some places, but this one definitely has a more uplifting side to it. I love the found family elements. We're following our main characters Hannah and Garrett. Now Garrett is an ice hockey player. Hannah is just sort of your straight A student who keeps her head down, not very popular, very small friendship group. Very much opposites attract sort of situation. Garrett is failing one of his classes that Hannah is sort of acing. He is determined to convince her to help him pass this class. If he doesn't get good grades in his classes, he doesn't get to play hockey. So he is determined to get her to help, and she's just like, absolutely not, go away. And from there they sort of strike up this really fun friendship. There's a lot of trauma on both sides of this relationship. There's a lot of sort of development around that and around them sort of like helping each other get through that, and I just think it was such a beautiful book. It was just such a beautiful book, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the found family element. I do think we're going to be getting all the lads' friendship groups stories through this, so I think we'll see a lot of their story again and a lot of like interconnected moments across the series. But it's another first person dual POV book, and I just love it. I just love it so much. A lot of fun. I'm so looking forward to getting into the rest of this series. I'm hoping that they're all going to be just as good, just as fun. So I'm definitely looking forward to moving through this. It's taken everything in me not to just immediately pick up the next books in this series, but I have a new TBR to go through. I have a new TBR to explore and to get into, which I will have already posted. So if you're interested in the reads I'm planning on reading in the month of November, then definitely go and check that out. I will not be continuing with the rest of the series immediately, but it is definitely on my radar for little fun easy reads between all the other big books I'll be reading for the rest of this year. So this is so much fun. I highly recommend it. I enjoyed it so much. And another amazing read in the month of October. We've had an amazing reading month. I kind of forgot. It's really bad actually. I forgot how much I've enjoyed my reads this month. I feel like with everything going on at the minute, I just keep forgetting to sort of like actually be present in my reading days. So what an amazing month. I feel like I've read so many good books. If you've read any of these books, do let me know what you thought of them, if you enjoyed them as much as I have. I've had such fun this month with my reads. I really hope you enjoyed this video. What have you read this month? Is there any books that you've rated 5 stars? Anything you highly recommend from your reads in October? Because I have plenty. As you can see, I have devoured my books this month. So let me know what your sort of 5 stars or high rated books were this month. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as always, my social media, my Amazon, my Goodreads and my business email are all in the description bar below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you are well. Take care. Bye.